A couple weeks ago, I announced to the Katie's Cars and Coffee community that I was giving away my signature preservation detail to one lucky car. Today, I make good on that promise with this, a 1989 Ferrari Mondial T. This Ferrari is certainly not a disaster detail like the MG was that I just finished, and worth around $70,000 to $80,000, nor is it a $500,000 exotic like the 812 GTS that I'll be showing you in the next video. However, this car is still an important piece of Ferrari history, is someone's pride and joy, and with imperfect but correctable paint is a great candidate for my preservation detail. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. The preservation detail is built on a completely different philosophy than what most people think of as detailing. Most detailers are just concerned about making a car look shiny today, chasing gloss without considering what's happening to the paint years down the road. My preservation detail is a multi-day, hyper-precise correction process built around one idea: remove as little paint as possible while making the car look absolutely incredible. Every time you polish, you are taking off paint permanently. That's a resource you don't get back. So the whole challenge, the art, is figuring out how to restore the best possible finish while preserving the paint's integrity for decades to come. I like to think of it like surgery. If you tore your knee, you wouldn't want a surgeon who just dives in with a scalpel and hopes for the best. You want an expert who performs exactly what's necessary, no more and no less. I'm constantly measuring the paint, panel by panel, coaxing out defects with intention and not brute force. The Mondial you're watching now took over 25 hours to complete because I constantly measure the paint, gently polish, inspect, measure, polish, inspect, you get the idea, until the paint looks stellar. What I didn't expect when I created this giveaway was to be working on one of the most difficult cars, full stop. This is a 35-year-old Italian single-stage paint, which is incredibly soft and easy to mar. Not just is the paint difficult, but it's filled with these louvers and edges and creases, so a lot of the car has to be polished by hand. So not just is this incredibly time-consuming work, it requires surgical precision because this car is super unforgiving. Every single car requires a different approach because every car has had a different life. So if the car requires claying, then I'll clay the paint. If it requires texture matching wet sanding, I'll perform that. Furthering the medical analogy, every car requires a unique procedure, and my Hippocratic oath is to never sacrifice the longevity of the car in pursuit of short-term beauty. Now, most people bring their car to me to focus on the exterior of their car and restore the paint and protect the paint for decades to come. But of course, I have the skill set to handle interiors too, and every preservation detail I do the interior. Once the finish is corrected, I protect it with a long-term, multi-layer ceramic coating. At this point, protection isn't optional. It's how you preserve the work. The coating acts as a barrier between the paint and the real world, helping keep the surface stable so that it doesn't need to be corrected again down the line. This is detailing for people who genuinely love their cars and want them to last. It's slower, rarer, and far more methodical, but the payoff is a finish that looks stunning today and stays safe for the long haul. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek into what a preservation detail entails. This car took me about 3 days, 25-ish hours to complete. If you're one of the 65 people who entered the giveaway, sincerely thank you for your interest. I really appreciate it, and hope this helps you understand what my detailing is all about. To the owner, thank you so much for trusting me with this car. It was a real privilege to work on. To everybody else, if you see me around Katie's, please come say hi. I'd love to get to know the community around here, and I'll talk to you guys soon.